morning. My name is Fenton, Product Manager at Future Facilities. Just want to show you a quick demo of the 6SigmaDCX software that we're launching today. So I'm going to quickly build a data center model in the software here. So first thing to do is just show off one of the integrations with AutoCAD, so you can bring in 2D and 3D CAD drawings. This is a 2D plane, and just going to build out a small portion of this facility with a data center. So first thing to do is just sketch around the space that I'm interested in, this rectangle here. But we can model any space size and shape data center that we want. Okay, so now we've got our model space within the room. I can now start adding some objects to my data center. First thing to do is add some IT equipment, so I can grab actually rows of cabinets, drop them in place. And this is a traditional hot and cold orientation. So I'm going to go with 6 rows, maybe 12 cabinets. And at this point I can choose which cabinets to use, which walls to use, and which type of IT equipment. But if you don't know, if you're in a design stage, you can use some of our design items, or you can actually navigate through. So for example, I want to load these cabinets with 4 kilowatts, and I can navigate through to our vendor libraries, which has all the manufacturers listed. So we have over 3,500 items that we can use, just dragging them into the model, all through from manufacturers' data, and also the people who use the software themselves. So at this point, this is completely searchable. So I could look for something like a ProLine SDL360, grab one of those, and build the room. So those will come in. There's my 6 rows. I've got my cabinets in there. And I can see right down to the cabinet level, and all right down to the individual assets themselves, with all the information about power, flow rate, utilisation. All that information is stored within the model itself. So at this point we'll just add some cooling. So again I'm going to drag in my cooling ACUs, and at this point I've just got an AirDL unit, and I get some basic controls. So if I want to do supply control, return control, VFDs, any sort of complex pressure control, you can set all that up very simply and easily in the software. So for now I'm just going to say, let's supply it 22 degrees, let's try and push our data center, and I want to add, let's go with 4 of these. Okay, there we go. And just grab these last 4 and just move them into the space. Okay, so our cooling's pretty much set up. Last thing I want to do is just do some containment. Everyone's interested in containment, hot and cold aisle. Again, I can go to my object panel and just search for something like a cold aisle containment system. I can drag this in, and it just drops in right into the right space. It's telling me exactly where it can be located, and then I drop it in. And there we go, I've got my cold aisle containment ready to go. Okay, so now I can solve this model. So this should take a couple of, probably only a minute to get some results as we kick it off.
So what was the main inspiration behind DCX then? What made you do it?
Well, we made a decision 2 years ago that we really wanted to make CFD accessible to all data center professionals. I think the market thinks of CFD as a bit of a dark art, and that you need somebody who's a PhD in thermal analysis. So what we wanted to do is really make the software accessible to anybody, and you can see it's built around very familiar ribbons, Microsoft style ribbons, and the Visio drag and drop. So the people who are walking around this conference, they understand data centers, they know what goes in them. So you just build the model exactly as you would a data center. You just drag in those items, you hit solve, and you get some thermal results. And that was the inspiration, is making it usable, super flexible, and really easy to get on with. So we can see we've pretty much finished solving these results. So now I can start looking at some results within my space. Now we have got traditional CFD results, but we've also got focused specific for the data center. So things like I can look at my ASHRAE conditions, and I can look at whether my cabinets are sitting within ASHRAE recommendation, and actually they are on the warm side, but they're in allowable range, but maybe we need to do a better job of our cooling. We can then look at other sort of more traditional type plots, so planes of temperature that we can move into any part of the space, or things like streamlines. So I can actually grab a cabinet, grab an individual server, and drop streamlines to see exactly how the box is breathing and where it's getting its airflow from. So we can see most of this air is coming through the floor and the exhaust out there, which is good. If we go back into the space, we can see which air handling unit is actually pulling that exhaust air back. We can also do some nice things like looking at a particular air handler and displaying which cabinets that air handler is supplying cold air to. So we can see, if we look at the plot behind us, which cabinets are being supplied by this ACU. So if we actually turn that unit off, we can see which cabinets are at risk during a maintenance or failure scenario. So that's a real quick whistle-stop tour of 6SigmaDCX. We're here at DC London for 2 days. We're stand 336. Come down and check us out for a demo, or get in contact at futurefacilities.com.
Great, thanks Mark.